Hey there, welcome back to what I am calling the Creative Expansion Studio. It's expansion into my own brand expansion project of Designify. See, Designify has been in business for a little over 7 years now, and there's been so much expansion just in that upon me, my clientele, the impact, the reach, and just the possibilities that I have explored, stepped through, and continue to expand myself through. Well, it's kind of high time to redo my brand vibe around what I'm reflecting out. And so, let me just show you, I want to share with you, kind of open that door and show you what it is that I'm reflecting on as an entrepreneur, what I'm thinking about. And if you're going through that, right now in your own business thinking, yeah, it kind of doesn't feel like me anymore. When I go and I look at my socials or I look at my website or I look at, whatever parts and pieces that I have built, it doesn't feel like me. And so that means like you're just kind of stretching out of that box. You're ready to expand out. And that's where I find myself as an entrepreneur right now. And so this is fun because I get to do this a lot for my own clientele. But every 5 to 10 years, you're supposed to kind of do your own rebrand. And well, for the past 2 years, I've been working a lot with entrepreneurs, helping them with creative guidance, marketing, just perspective and visual communication within their own business brands so that they can connect dots really and create this unmistakably understandably reflective vibe that they put out in their business. They reflect it out in everything that they do, everyone they work with, every piece along the journey of anyone that is a potential client coming into them. So, anytime you're doing a rebrand, it's a lot of pieces, it's a lot of parts and pieces, it's a lot of work. And so, I can understand if you've been putting it off or you just haven't really had the time to like sit and think about it. Lord knows I have had that happen myself. I think I started kind of implementing this brand. Let me just actually share this with you right here. I can kind of show you what I'm working on, but I've been actually implementing this new brand. You can see it over on the right hand side versus my current, well, let's call it concurrent. Current brand right now is on the left. It's a little bit more orange, golden tones, a little bit darker browns. I like to call it fall. Metallics is really what's kind of feeling into the Designify logo right now. Not even the logo, but in the vibe itself. And over on the right, you'll see that that expansion is coming through. And you'll even see it here in this recording environment that I'm actually coming to you and connecting with you right now. Like I said, I've had some time to implement this vibe in other extensions of my own business, of Designify. For the past 2 years, Designify has conducted and held Brand Expand Academy and helping entrepreneurs actually expand their own branding toolbox. And inside that environment, I'll show you a picture of that in a little bit, but inside of that environment, this real, I want to call it this feminine, you know, just vibe of vibrant blossoms, grapefruit colors. It really is something where I have connected with. It's a color that I've always liked, I've always appreciated, but working in this environment, in this container with a lot of just powerful, bold women entrepreneurs has helped kind of just ignite that in my own self. And it allowed me to kind of bring that forward in the containers where we were meeting 5 times a month. We continue to do so even to this day. I'll tell you more about that. There's a way to actually join us into Brand Expand Academy as well, if that sounds interesting to you. But let's move through this because that's one of the things, really bringing in that fire. Fire has always been a piece and part of my own logo. It's part of my brand story. That's one of the things that I'm always incorporating into when I work with clients is pouring in that story, that reflective vibe of what it is that is telling of what makes you unique, what you do. the transformation that you bring, right? So every part and piece of this is symbolic. I like to think of a logo like a one-page picture book. Imagine, when you read those stories to children and they have no words on them, but you're looking at everything and you're really explaining what's going on in this picture, in this visual. That's much the same of how I prefer to approach branding, brand vibe, logos, everything from foundational value that you're building into the impact that you're creating forward. So, this logo tells a story, but the only difference here is now bringing in that fire to have more of that feminine fire, that pink, grapefruit, blossoming fire color. I love the color. I don't know how to exactly explain it, but you see it all here. All right, so here's the expansion in progress. On the left, you can see actually my socials right now. I haven't touched or updated anything. I've put up like an expansion in progress, and that's just kind of like the yellow tape, the caution tape. Hey, be careful where you step because there's some stuff everywhere. And just finding that time, allocating that time. And that's why I'll be leveraging and working with AI to maybe fine tune some ideas, but I'm not really leaving it in AI's hands to design at all. And I will note that I'm also been playing, I like to call them my AI friends, but been playing with AI for about 3 years now. And so I have a pretty good history of just things that I've created, workshops, master classes, handouts, things talking about clients, just stuff like that that actually helps AI understand the structures of how what I offer and what I do in business. More than just graphics, more than just logos, but extension of connecting dots into branding. And so this is where I'm heading, where I'm going. You can see I got my headshot in there. I'm moving into this right hand side. And let me just kind of zoom in there. You'll notice that there's sky on, let me zoom in over here. There's sky on that right hand side. And that's another big one that is always very prevalent in my life. I'm a creative. I'm a natural creative at heart. I'm a visionary, creative kind of being. I always have my head in the clouds. I'm always daydreaming and wondering about the next possibility. And so the head in the clouds idea is something that just connects with me. I feel like it really brings me forward in this instance, and that's part of actually the expansion around this Designify expansion project. Designify has always been very structured with the entity of the logo very much forward. Carolina was kind of in the back seat. Um, and that was on purpose because it was made to feel more professional and corporate, not a single person, a single solopreneur per se. And so that was the vibe that was really something that helped and definitely served me when I was aiming and serving towards the real estate marketing aspect of the industry. And so working with elite brokerages, working with elite realtors, really positioning yourself towards those type of clientele, that is why a lot of my branding was of such. So the fire has always been incorporated in there. That's always been like an adjective that people have described. Oh, that's fire. I love that. That's fire. That's hot. So always staying true to the fire is something that is very reflective of my own business. And like I said, the skies, the clouds. The other day, I looked up in my phone to see how many sky pictures I had, and it literally said over 8,000 cloud and sky pictures. And so you can see right there, I'm always playing with the clouds. If there's cloud feathers in the sky, I'm, posing and taking pictures. And I love the metaphoric, the spiritual connection, the wonderment connection, just the beauty of possibility in the sky and soaring high. And so it's very symbolic to me. Blue skies, that's where I definitely am going to bring that into a lot. And I have it incorporated in some parts and pieces and posts, my new posts here and there. So I'm excited to have this more personal reflection coming through. And so you can see even here, even in the headshots, I've even thought that through of what type of headshots I will be bringing forward. And you can see on the left side is a very professional presence, more of my headshot library from before with, lock boxes and, businesswoman on the phone, And so this was very prevalent for me in the real estate world on the desk, doing my work. It served a very good purpose for connecting there. But right now I'm moving into this more personal presence where I want to bring and honor just the essence of the entrepreneur behind the business and kind of bring the entrepreneur forward as opposed to the business being forward. And this is not something that I used to be comfortable. Let me be very frank, very, very transparent here. I used to be the wizard behind the curtain. I felt very comfortable behind there. That is how I built my business before, very much so. And I didn't like having the being really the face of the business. It was hard for me to be um, visibly confident around my business. I wasn't bringing my face forward. I wasn't bringing my own fire forward. I was always hiding behind that logo, always hiding behind Designify, always not feeling quite comfortable in making it as big. Let me just go back over here because that is what really got me thinking is, I'm sick of hiding behind this logo. I'm sick of hiding behind this, business itself and thinking to myself, "Oh, I can't be confident enough to talk about the things that I know so well." I mean, that is so silly when we think about that. But yet we get in our own minds, we get into our own uh fear, our own doubt, our own things and blocks that hold us back from actually sharing our expertise, the things that we're known for, the things that we do so well. But yet we want to expand out. And so I just want to show you part of bringing in the headshots in black and white is another piece that I'm bringing forward of honoring my ancestral lineage. Because during this past 2 years, I've brought in so many things that have been passed down to me. Creative gifts that I realized have been honored beyond me. They have been brought in just in my blood, and I bring them forward with such conviction and such love of just being able to be so resourced and so blessed right now to be a woman in business with creative talents. And now I have the confidence to step beyond that curtain and actually come forward, bring my own fire forward and say, "Hey, hi, I'm Carolina. I'm really great at helping connect dots and bring your visual reflection into your brand, into your impact, whatever it is that you're building forward." And so much so that I've really focused in on building this in my own self as an entrepreneur, realizing these values around what it is I do. I'm sorry, what it is I offer to the people that align with me and when we work together. And so having this just resourced blessed idea, I wanted to bring in black and white headshots. So that'll be a nice little personal presence that you'll kind of see me bringing through. But like I said earlier, Brand Expand Academy has been something that's been in progress for almost 2 years now. And I've been working and collaborating with other entrepreneurs, helping them in ways that has been outside of the real estate lane. And that's been so exciting to me to actually even step through that and realize the possibilities beyond what I could do in real estate. And so this is just a testament to some of the things that have been going on in the back end of my own brand expansion. And now I want to bring them forward to the front so that they're visible because these things are not visible right now. In fact, if I go to my website, here it is. This is my business website. If I just go through these images real quick, you'll see that everything is very real estate related. This is kind of a nice little holding place of where everything has been holding since I've been kind of expanding in the background. You could see there's just a lot of real estate going on in here. And so that was okay for me. Honestly, I'm going to give you another tip and take it if you want or leave it on the table. But if you're walking through expansion right now in your own business, then give yourself grace because you can't get all the shit done right away. Like you just can't. You know that there's all these parts and pieces that you really do add piece by piece. And so that's why I'm opening this up to you. The next pieces that I'll be building in, what's getting me to think of what am I connecting through? What am I reflecting out? Because I know when I reflect back on the past 2 years of what I've been working on, I know I need to bring those pieces forward. And so another piece is the fear and doubt smash, the piñatas. Now, this is really fun for me because I actually had this on a crazy idea notepad. And I have little sticky notes that I'll write crazy idea and then I'll date it and I'll go and I'll stick it up on my crazy ideas. And they just, different ones that I think, oh my God, that would be so cool. Okay, when, where, and how, I don't know, write it on the crazy ideas, stick it up one day, someday. And this right here was on my crazy idea that I wrote back in July of 2023. It took almost 3 years to come through to fruition. But the piñata aspect of my own creativity that I just absolutely love, I was able to bring it into human empowerment events and kind of bring that piñata piece as a tool, as a representation, as a metaphorical tool to move through. Uh, Action in your business, in your mindset, in things that hold you back. It was so cool to be able to do that. I don't know if you can hear the excitement in my voice, but it was not only at one event, not two events, but three different events that this got to bring forward. You can just see, I mean, people smashing them, men, women, all joining in the same room, writing their fears and doubts on there and then declaring truth against them. It was a very powerful exercise that went from crazy idea to fruition. Here's the third event that I got to bring that forward to. This was the resilience event. We had the Awaken Your Resilience back in October 2025. And then we had Awaken Your Voice January of this year, 2026. I got to take part in that, speak at that, bring forward some business elements in that. And then also at Awaken Your Fire, which was in Texas in May this month, or I'm sorry, this year, 2026. And so all these parts and pieces are another thing that I want to bring forward in my brand expansion. See, piñatas have always been a thing in Designify's world. Okay, let me rephrase that. Piñatas have always been a thing in my world, in Carolina's world, in how I grew up. My mother passed this art down to me. Her mother passed it down to her. This is ancestral art gifted forward that when I bring forward and I exercise, it makes sense to me why it is so satisfying, why it just makes me so fulfilled when I get to work with my hands and create something so spectacular, so custom, so personalized that otherwise wouldn't exist without the wonderment, the possibility, or the imagination. And so I've always brought in or sprinkled in custom piñatas every so often. I would use it for something for Cinco de Mayo or for a contest that we would run. And then I would deliver them to my clients and just give that extra little special customized touch. And I've done it multiple times at multiple sizes and just delivering them and making it an actual experience to be able to experience your brand in another connective dot that makes you feel something. I bet you can guess how it made them feel to see their piñata, to see their own logo, see their own brand on a piñata. Yeah, pretty freaking cool. And so this has been something that has been part of my business since forever. My business was founded on this. I actually had a custom piñata business when I first started out as an entrepreneur. Would you like to see some of those? I have them here. You can kind of see, but this is a long time ago. But these were piñatas that we used to custom make. We would ship them. We would take custom orders online through this blog that I had, and we would ship them nationwide. I would ship all the time to California, back and forth. We started out in, just birthday parties, and then it eventually grew into adult events. Before I knew it, I was getting orders for mascots and for just different kinds of characters, people, CEOs. I was getting HSBC, I was getting corporate. And there was a lot of, there's the character pinatas there, that was CEO heads for a corporate picnic. Hilarious. But this is where a lot of this originated for me, is having this depth, this connection. And so, one of the big things for me is thinking through, you know, what is the parts and pieces. My philosophy, honestly, right now is build and connect it all. Just bring it all together around the parts that pull at your heart, around the things that just make your heart so fulfilled. And finding entrepreneurs that are excited to meet 3, 5, sometimes even more times a month to expand their knowledge around marketing, around visual communication, around vibe and feeling that they're connecting their business to a client so that they can feel the person that's behind that business. That to me has been so amazing. That is a heart pull that I want to build into my expansion now, of having that brand expand component in there, and also having that pinata component in there. That was another thing. Creating a creative outlet, a creative experience was something that I was able to share and open up as a stream. And I eventually actually turned it into a course. If that's something you're interested in, creating your own Fear Smash Pinata, I walk through it with you, 5 days, step by step, 1 hour a day. And that creative expression of actually disconnecting from your computer and actually tapping into creative experiences is so powerful. And it's, again, something that is a philosophy in my own world, my own brand, my own personal vibe. And so I want to bring that forward in my business brand expansion project, so that all these parts and pieces can be felt, so that it's not just Designify. I want it to grow with me. I want to show that the woman behind there is also growing, also becoming more confident, also bringing her fire out. And that's it. This is it. This is me. This is me expanding out into my business. And so that is where yeah, I want to just share that with you. And if, like I said, if you're also expanding in your own business and you're thinking, yeah, but I don't know where to even start. Here's where you start. Ask yourself the very first question is, who am I becoming? And what should my business communicate at this stage in my business journey? And when you get built up so much to a point where you're like, yeah, a lot has changed, and a lot is no longer looking like it was looking before, then it's time to expand your own brand out. So, um, I'm going to continue walking through this. I'm going to keep connecting more dots. My next dot that I'm actually going to be connecting is my iPhone contact card. And so when I call people, a lot of times when I speak to my real estate agents, or they're not my agents, but my clients that are realtors or brokers, this is the professional vibe of my iPhone contact card that comes up. And so that'll be one of the next things that I'll be customizing, kind of bringing in more of that personal vibe, that feminine fire. So if that's something that you are also working on and you're thinking, hey, yeah, I don't want to miss that, then definitely join me for that next connection of the dot, because I have Like I said, a lot of many, many, many dots to connect here. So I'll be updating the social media. Next is that contact card. And I foresee actually updating my Zoom after right there because I use Zoom a lot. And so I want to make sure that my headshot looks good in there. I want to make sure that I have my Zoom waiting room looks great. I can show you some updates that I've made there. That looks amazing. I actually have a movie playing in there. Woo! I know, really fun. So I hope that this information, or even just opening up this door, helps kind of create a sense of wonder around what you're expanding in your business right now. And I know that it can feel overwhelming. And as I continue to walk through this, I'm going to share with you some more prompts, some more things that have helped me organize through and not get stuck in that rabbit hole that AI can so easily trap you in. But ultimately, I am a brand specialist at heart. And so AI can never, ever tell you who you are and what you do. It can merely see patterns and it can merely tell you what it's seeing from what you're telling it. So if there's parts that you haven't actually expressed from your own heart, things that maybe you haven't said, and honestly, I don't think you should tell AI everything. But know that the information coming out of it will always be skewed. So make sure you're not just accepting it for what it's giving you. Make sure you're always refining, you're always challenging it, and you're always checking back in. Does this actually feel like me? Is this actually my vibe? If somebody saw this, would they think, oh, yeah, that's totally Carolina? So, that's what I'll be walking through for, well, the next few dots that I will have to connect. And so it's time. I'm excited for this expansion. Even more excited that you're joining me for it. And I hope that I can create a sense of wonder around what next piece you are going to expand in your business. All right. Well, I'm Carolina with Designify, and that's it for me today. I will see you on the next one. All right. Bye for now.
Collision of minds, a creative expansion. Make it ripple.